So why we are going for source coding? Anyone? So this already I discussed in the first class. Anyway, you have to give the answer in the next class, otherwise. So let us consider a discrete memoryless source which is going to generate or emit symbols x1 to xm with the probability of occurrence of these symbols p of x1, x2, xm. Okay, so whenever I want to send x1, so I'm going to use a code. Okay, so there is a one-to-one mapping I'm going to do. Okay, when I want to send x1, maybe I can send 0. Suppose x2, I can send 1 0. Xm maybe 111 I'm sending. So if I count for each code word, I'm going to use a code word for each and every symbol. Okay, going to be sent. Okay, so the length of code word I can count just by counting how many bits I'm going to use. So that is going to give L1. Okay. So I can find out the average length of the code word by this equation. So I know P of xi is going to be the probability of occurrence of symbol xi. Okay, where Li is going to be the length. So suppose if I am using my coded alphabet, I am going to use the coded alphabets. Okay, 0 1. I can suppose. So x1 I am going to use 0 and x2 maybe I am going to use 1 1. Okay, x3 maybe 1 0 1. Okay, so this is my code one. Okay, c1 c2 c3 corresponding to x1 x2. So whenever I want to send x1 x2 x3, I am going to, instead of sending x1 x2 x3, I am sending this code word. Okay, so what is the length of this code word? It is going to be 1. Okay. So L1 is nothing but 1, whereas for code for length for the second code word is going to be 2. So the third one it is going to be 3. Okay. So if I know the length and if the probability of occurrence is known, I can find out the average length of the code word. It is nothing but L bar, which is equal to summation of P of xi Li, where I is varying from 1 to. Suppose I assume that the source is generating m number of symbols. So in such case, I can, using this formula, I can get average length. So once you know average length, so you know how to find out the entropy of the source. So it is nothing but h of x. Suppose I'm sending only x1, x2, x3. I know probability of occurrence of x1 is known, x2, x3 is known. So I can find out h of x. Okay, L bar, just now I got the value of L. Okay, so it is the length of each and every code one. How many bits I am going to use for code one? Say suppose if my coded alphabet is 0 1, I am going to count. So sometimes I may use 0 1 2 also. Okay. Anyway, length is, you have to count how many alphabet is going to be used for each code word. Okay. So that is going to give L value. So you can find out the L bar, and then D is nothing but D array. So when we are going to use binary alphabet for coding, so D is going to be 2. So when coded alphabet is going to be 0, 1, 2. Okay, 0, 1, 2. I'm going to use for coding. So then D is going to be 3. Okay, D will be, so this is general efficiency equation. Okay, h of x by L bar log D. So once you know efficiency, you can get the redundancy just by subtracting from 1. Okay, 1 minus efficiency will give redundancy value. Okay. So next is we are going to classify the codes. Okay, I have written 6 different codes. I have written. Okay. So can you can you, so if you compare code 1 and code 2, the number of bit I am going to use for each symbol is going to be same 2. Okay, x1 I'm going to code with 0, 0. So x2 also 0, 1, x3 is also 0, 0, and x4 1, 1. So 2 bit. Okay. So the first one is fixed length code. Okay. So code 1 and 2 are said to be fixed length code because I'm using always 2 bit. Okay, for coding. For each code word is going to be made of 2 bit. Okay. So next variable length code. Can you tell me what do you mean by variable code? So code 3 to 4. Okay, if you see 3 to 6. Sorry, code 3 to 6 is said to be variable length code. So why it is said to be variable length code? Anyone? So because number of bit is not going to be same, right? Number of bit I'm going to use. So for sending symbol x1, I'm going to send 0. Okay. Whereas for x3, I'm using 1, 0. Whereas x4, I'm going to use a code word 1, 1. Okay. So this is said to be variable length code. Okay. So code 3 to code 6 is said to be variable length code. Is it clear? So I'll have to write this table otherwise. So have you finished?
1 minute, sir.
So till now I have discussed fixed length code, then variable length code. Okay.
Sir, you have uploaded this on VTop, sir.
Yeah, today after the class immediately I can upload it. I can update till today's class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So code 3 to 6 is said to be variable code. Okay, whereas these two codes are said to be fixed code. Okay. Because number of bit I am going to use for code word is going to be varying one. Okay. For variable codes. Okay. Have you noted?
Yes.
Okay, next. So what do you mean by distinct code? Okay, this I covered. Distinct code. So it is said to be unique. Okay, each code word is distinguishable from other codes. Okay, then it is said to be unique code. Okay, so code 1 is not distinct. Okay, so code 2 is also wrong. Okay, in this. Okay, so. So code
Sir,
1
why
is.
is code 1 and code 2 the same exactly?
Yeah. So code 1 and 2 is not unique code. Okay, distinct code. Why it is not unique? Because I am using for x1 I am using 0, 0. Okay, code word is 0, 0. Whereas for x3 also 0, 0.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. 0, 0. So two symbols I am going to use same code word. Okay, then it is not distinct. Okay. Whereas code 3 to 6, so it is said to be distinct code. Okay. Is it clear? For
Yes,
code
sir.
2 also 0, 0 I am using for x1. So suppose I want to send x3, okay, x1, x2, x3 I am sending. So for sending this, so for x3 I should send. So instead of sending this symbol, whenever I want to send, I am sending 0, 0. Okay, then x1 also I am going to use 0, 0. Okay, this is x2. So x2 is going to be 0, 1. Again for x3 0, 0. So when receiver side when it receives, so it may decode. Okay, the symbol corresponding to this may be x1 or x3, right? x1 or x3, because we are using same codes for both x1 and x3. So it is not a distinct code. Okay. The next is, so what do you mean by uniquely decodable code or decipherable code? Okay. So codes are said to be uniquely decodable if we can construct the original binary sequence perfectly from the encoded sequence. Say suppose for code 3, okay. So when I send 1001, okay, say 1001, right? So it may be decoded as x3, x1, x2 or x2, x1, x2. Is it correct? So what is the so
Correct,
can you
sir.
tell me? Huh?
Correct only, sir.
Okay. So now when I send okay, so 1001, right? I can take the table itself, the same page I am writing. So 1001. So when I am sending 10 at the receiver, so I can take, so suppose if it is going to use code 3, for example, okay. So I can decode in this way, or, okay. So I can 001, sorry. So in this way also I can decode, okay. So when I decode in this way, it is going to be x2, x1, sorry, x1 or x1, x2, right?
Sir, X3, X1, X2, sir.
X3, right? X3, x1, x2. So when I in this way, if I decode, so it is going to be x2, x2, x1. Okay, again x1, x2. Am I right? Right. So it is not a unique code. Okay. Code 3 is not a uniquely decodable code, because the moment when the receiver receives, okay, when it decode, immediately it is going to decode the corresponding symbol. So it is getting confused here. Okay. So because 10 it can take, or 1 separately and 0 separately, then the symbol received is going to be different. So these two are not same, right? So it is not a uniquely decodable code. Okay. So we have to reconstruct the original binary sequence perfectly from the encoded sequence. So when this is 1001, so the code may be, so receiver may decode it as in this way, x3, x1, x2, or x2, x1, x1, x2, right? So code 3 is not uniquely decodable. Can you tell me what is code 1? Is it a uniquely decodable code or not? Code 1.
No, sir, because
It's
X3,
not
X1 are same.
unique.
Yeah, not uniquely decodable, because when we send 00, it indicates, so it is it may be decoded as x1 or x3, right? Okay, so it is not a uniquely decodable code. So similarly, you can check for the remaining code words, right? Okay,
So
next
code
way.
2 is also not uniquely decodable, right?
Yeah, correct, Ma. Fine, correct.
Sir,
So
can you
next
show an
is,
example of uniquely decodable code?
which one?
Can you show us an example of uniquely decodable code?
I'll show. Okay, wait. Okay. Anyway, before doing giving example, I want to define this term also. Okay. So encoding or enciphering is the terminology we are going to use. Okay. So it is a procedure for mapping a given set of message M1 to Mn. Okay. Suppose a source is generating n number of symbols. Okay. We are going to map this into a set of encoded message C1, C2, Cn. So the transformation is going to be 1-to-1. Okay. So this is general definition for encoding or enciphering. So the term enciphering is nothing but it is said to be encoding only. Right? Anyway, I'll give you example for. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So, if we take this code, okay, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, I'm taking, right? So we have one more code, okay, it is said to be prefix code, okay, prefix code, okay. So any code is said to be instantaneous code or irreducible code or said to be prefix code. So when no code word be a prefix of some other code word. So if we check 0 is not a prefix for these three code word. Okay. Is it clear? So whereas 1, 0, you take any one code word and you compare. So no code word is a prefix of any other code word. Then it is said to be instantaneous code or irreducible code. Okay. Is it clear? So 1, 0 is not going to be a prefix of any other code word. Take the first problem. Okay, already noted, right? So can you tell me which is prefix code and this one? I have 5 codes I am giving, right?
Sir, code 4, sir.
So code 1 is not a prefix code because 0, 0 is a prefix, okay, for this third code message, right? So what
Sir,
about
code
code
4,
3?
sir.
Code 4, very good. Code 4 is not a prefix code. Why? Because 0 is not going to be a prefix for the remaining 3 code words. So if you take 1, 0, 1, 0 is not going to be a prefix for any other code word. Whereas if you take code 3, 0 is, sorry, 1, 1. If you take 1 is going to be a prefix for these 2 code words, right? So 1, 0.
So code 6.
Yeah, code 6 also very good. So 1 is not a prefix, 0, 1. So for this, 1 is going to be a prefix for these 2 code words. Okay, 1. Okay. So it is said to be prefix code or instantaneous code or irreducible code. Okay. So when it is satisfied this condition, right? So no code word is a prefix for any other code word, then so it is a prefix code. Okay. So can you tell me now which is uniquely decodable code that given table?
Sir, code 5.
Code 5. So code 4, okay, 4 and 6 is said to be uniquely decodable code. Why? So can you tell me? So the moment when suppose I'm mixing this and I'm sending this, right, at the receiver side, I'm going to decode. Immediately I should decode it, okay? Decode the original message sequence, right? That is my aim. So when it is uniquely decodable code. So is it possible to decode immediately?
Yes, sir.
Code 4 and 6 are said to be uniquely decodable code, right?
Sir.
So whereas if I
Also,
mix, yes sir?
5 also, I think.
Which one? 5, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 0.
Sir, no,
So when
sir.
I-
The second one is a prefix, the third one.
Yes, sir. And the third one is a prefix of fourth one.
Yeah, it is not a prefix code. Yeah, it is a.
Sir, it's a prefix, but sir, suppose if you send 0, 1, 1, we can't write x2 and any other one. So the only option is x3 only. So it is uniquely decodable code.
Okay, okay. So we have one more condition. I will tell you. Right? Correct. I can. Okay. So this is clear. So instead of this, I can give prefix code also. Okay, all are same. Okay, prefix code. Okay. So instantaneous code or irreducible code is said to be prefix code. So if no code word be a prefix of some other code word, then it is said to be prefix code. Okay. Next. So I gave one more example for instantaneous code 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So 0 is a prefix. Okay. So when I mix and I am sending this, I can decode it as 0, 0 separately, or 0, 0 will be considered a single message and I can decode. So it is not an instantaneous code. Okay. So it is not satisfying prefix property. Okay. So similarly for this also. Okay. Next is. Okay. So the necessary and sufficient condition for the any instantaneous code, okay, we have to check one more condition. Okay, the necessary and sufficient conditions for existence of irreducible encoding procedure with a specified word length. Okay, n1 to nn is that a set of positive integers can be such that when you're going to calculate summation of d power minus ni should be always less than or equal to 1. Okay, when it is going to be instantaneous code. Okay, so the d is going to be the number of coded alphabet we are going to use for coding. Okay, for coding. Okay, we have proof also. So by using this is said to be Kraft's inequality. Okay, Kraft's inequality. Okay, so any irreducible noiseless code, instantaneous code is always going to satisfy this condition. Okay, it is a necessary and sufficient condition. Okay, so where ni is going to be the word length. Okay, word length we are going to use for. So suppose I is 1, so. Anyway, we can do problem based on this also. Before doing problem, I want to prove this also. Okay. So let us assume a word length. Okay, we are going to suppose based on the word length I am arranging in this ascending order. So n is greater than the previous one. Okay, n I am going to write from n1 to nn. Okay, n1, and I'm going to arrange, okay, based on the word length, I'm arranging this in the ascending order. Okay, so my aim is I want to prove that okay, Kraft's inequality. Suppose let wi be the number of encoded message of length ni. Okay, so wi be the number of encoded message with length ni. Okay. And number of encoded message with only one letter cannot be larger than d. So we have some coding restriction. So now, okay, suppose I am going to substitute I is 1. Okay, number of encoded message with only one letter cannot be larger than d. Okay, so the restriction is w1 is always going to be less than or equal to d. So the number of next we are going to substitute I is 2. Okay, when you take number of encoded message of length 2, okay, length 2 because of code. So we are going to take, so we should always take this one, take W1 to right hand side and you are going to write this equation. So W2 is less than or equal to, so this term you should take right hand side. So D minus W1 multiplied by D, you can get D squared minus W1D. So this is going to be the condition for when the number of encoded message of length 2, okay. So when you write in this way, so you can write for W3. So what do you mean by W3? Number of message with 3-bit, okay, length, 3-bit length, right? So that is W3. So W3 is going to be, when you do in the same way, by using, so we have some coding restriction, using that we are writing this equation. So W3 is going to be less than or equal to this. So when you multiply this D inside, so you are going to get this equation. So finally, based on the previous equation and this one, we can write the final general expression. So if M is going to be the maximum length of encoded word, so you can write it as Wm less than or equal to D power M minus W1 D power M minus 1. So this is general expression we are writing. So after writing this, we are going to divide. So I am going to take Wm to right hand side and then dividing on both sides by D power M, okay. So for equation 5, the left hand side I have Wm, okay. Number of message with length, take M, okay. So I am going to take this to right hand side. So my last term will be Wm. So I am dividing on both sides by D power M. So then I can get the this equation, right? So less than or equal to 1 minus W1 D power minus 1 minus W2 D power minus 2 up to D minus Wm D power minus M. So this is nothing but this. So 1 I am going to leave here and the remaining term I am going to take W1 D power minus 1 to Wm D power minus M. I am going to take the left hand side. Okay, when I take this, so I am going to get this summation. Summation of Wi D power minus I, where I is varying from 1 to M, is going to be less than or equal to 1. Okay. So finally I am getting this equation. So what is the meaning for this? So when summation of Wi D power minus I means, so sum of number of all sequence of length I, we are going to multiply it by D power minus I, okay. So we are incrementing I from 1 to M and we are going to substitute. So what do you mean by W1? How many messages we are going to use only 1 bit, okay. So we are going to multiply that by D power minus 1, okay, minus 1. So this is general. So when you do that, okay, I can write in this way. The summation of Wi D power minus I is equal to W1 D power minus 1 plus W2. So what is the meaning for this? So W1 is how many messages are going to be coded with a single bit, okay. So W1 may be 2 or 3, okay. It is a general. So I am writing. So in this way, we can write how many D power minus 1 is going to be there. It is a W1 time. So similarly for W2 time, okay, D power minus 2 will be the terms are there. So this is general. So when you add W1 plus W2 up to Wm, so you can get total number of symbols. Suppose if I have 8 symbols, I am going to use 2 symbols with length 1, okay, coded, so code 1. So 3 may be code with 2 symbol, okay, 2 bits. Remaining I may use 3 bits. So when I add W1, W2, Wm, so the total will be nothing but total number of symbols going to be present, okay. So summation of Wi D power minus Ni, okay. So this is going to be, so this is, we have one more proof anyhow. So it is always equal to summation of, so here W1, W2 is nothing but how many symbols are going to be going to use single bit. W2 So I think the beginning I told. Okay, here, see. When you substitute I is 1, okay, the number of encoded message with only one letter. So W1 is going to be the number of message, encoded message with only one letter we are going to use, so that is W1. So in the same way, when I is 2, we are getting W2, okay. So, summation of Wi depot minus I, where I is 1 to m, can be replaced in terms of I 1 to n also. Okay? So, can you prove this and tell me? Okay? Otherwise, I can do it in the next class. Summation of I 1 to n depot minus 9. So, these two terms are going to be equal. So, simply I can replace that the summation of Wi depot minus I is less than or equal to 1. So, this condition is said to be Kraft's inequality. Any irreducible code, okay, so it is a sufficient and necessary condition to check okay, whether it is an irreducible code or not. You have to always check the Kraft's inequality, that is nothing but summation of depot minus n9 less than or equal to 1. Okay. So, this condition you have to check. Anyway, this is basic. Next class we are going to do Shannon's-Fano coding algorithm. Okay, next class.
Sir, what are the
Yes,
portions
sir.
for CAT, sir?
So portion may be up to Huffman. Okay, Shannon's-Fano. Okay, so under in the source coding, we have to read Shannon-Fano and then Shannon-Fano-Elias coding, okay, and then Huffman, okay. I think for both binary as well as non-binary, okay, for all the cases, okay.
Okay, sir.
I think with this I can stop. So next class we can do problem based on Shannon's-Fano. Okay, it is a simple problem only. You bring your calculator for the class. Okay. I think I can generate the occurrence.